On the edge of space, before time began, there was only the hubverse. Sprocketeers avenged clarity, they dismantled obscurity, they danced when the flywheel spun. Here, we bring you the stories and the journeys to becoming the HubSpot superadmin. In this episode, Ali tells us about her love for the HubSpot community, how the role of superadmin is more about people than technology, and the importance of building on milestones as you grow your HubSpot knowledge. Welcome to Becoming a HubSpot Superadmin podcast, where we're championing the HubSpot Superadmin. With us today, we have Ali Schwanke. She's the CEO and founder of Simple Strat and host of one of my favorite YouTube channels, HubSpot Hacks. Hey, Ali.
Hey, how's it going, Grant?
It's going well. So let's start with the first question, which is, what is your favorite HubSpot tool and why?
All right, so I can't say all of them, right?
Not all of them.
This sounds like the question that's like, you go to a desert island and what three things do you take with you, right?
What do you bring with you?
Right. Yeah, you're going to an island and you can only take one thing in HubSpot. Well, first of all, Grant, thanks for the invite to be on here today. Followed this for a while and love what you're building. We definitely share a love of HubSpot, and I would say my favorite tool inside of HubSpot, this is kind of a catch-all answer, but I think workflows. I mean, workflows make everything go round. If let's say automation was baked in and I had to choose one other one, I lately am a very, very big fan of the task queues. I think the task queues from a sales perspective, getting in that state of flow is certainly something all salespeople really appreciate.
Task queues. Love that. So this is the first time I'm hearing that on the podcast. It is usually, Ali, which makes sense, workflows. Some people have paired workflows and something else and said that combination is kind of their favorite tool set, maybe. Task queues is an interesting one. Would love to hear about more of that sometime, because there are so many things that you can do with it. Yeah,
well, one of the things that I feel like we were just talking about this prior to recording on making things easy for people. I think there's the HubSpot can do so many things, and then quickly someone who's new to the platform, maybe not super admins, but the people that we're trying to lead in the tool, we get super excited and they get overwhelmed by our enthusiasm, right? So when we put ourselves in their shoes and go, how can I help you be a hero in this platform? And if that's the case, and your goal is I need to make X amount of sales and X amount of calls or whatever, P.S. we have a video coming out about task queues, so there you go. But they can get themselves in a state of flow, which is kind of like super popular now that people are talking about, flow states and productivity. But, certainly you can actually, in a sequence, if you have a sequence going out, so as an admin, you can then have a task assigned to someone and it can go into a certain queue. So let's say the queue is called trade show follow-up. So all of that follow-up goes in a queue. Yeah, pretty cool.
Love it. The flow makes a lot of sense. And I know Karen had shared how she uses as in a sales role, the flow that you can just be in the task flow queue and it'll show you what to do next. You're not having to guess and jump around.
Yeah, definitely.
So that then gets us into question 2 about what you're doing now. So, I said some titles. Can you tell us, put the stake in the ground for us of what it is that you're working on right now?
Yeah. So right now I'm as you mentioned, founder and CEO of Simple Strat. We're a HubSpot Diamond partner, and we are also a content marketing agency. So we've got 2 lines of our company, 2 lines of business. But what we excel in is helping people do all things HubSpot. So some folks out there work in HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce, Zoho, you name it. We've decided to get really, really good and intimate with the platform and exclude all others so that we can just be the best at that. So yes, that's why we're talking here today, right?
Right. So whatever it means for your business, do you have whatever it means for your business doing that in HubSpot? Simple Strat does that. Do you focus in on a segment of the market at all? Is that something you do?
We do on one side. So when we talk about content relative to HubSpot, we focus in on B2B, But I would say one of the things that people outside of the platforms, we have a video on YouTube. It's called What is HubSpot and What Can I Do with It?
Mm-hmm.
It is a very popular question. We have a blog on our blog that says, what is HubSpot and what can I do with it? Because it's kind of one of those like buzzwordy things. I think what people don't realize is, especially if they're maybe newer to sales and marketing, digital sophistication, like the transformation that's happened for you and I over the past 5 years, is they hear about it and it sounds kind of like a magic wand. And it's actually more like a really great Tesla without an engine, right? Like you've got the bones of it and the engine becomes your content, your people, your processes, and all of that sort of thing. So like, even if you charged your battery before you drove, if it doesn't have an engine, it's not going to go anywhere. So
don't have anything to drive it.
We talk about content, people, process being the engine that powers your HubSpot. And so if you don't have content, your sales team is going to be completely like starving for things to send out in their sequences, right? If you don't have those bones in place, HubSpot can't do what it's supposed to do for you. So we do help on the B2B side on anything HubSpot, any industry. We can help you customize, set up, and transform and build. We can do all of that. But if you have no idea what to say to your customers, we can help you. We just won't help you if you're e-commerce or manufacturing or whatever. So.
Love that. That makes so much sense, Ali, that if you have a business that you're running a business, we can help you translate that into HubSpot and make that run better or grow. But if you're not running your business, it's going to be really tough for us to implement a thing that you're kind of not running well or you're not deeply into. It's not going to start a business for you. HubSpot isn't going to do that. What it will do is take the business that you have and it will amplify it or grow it to the direction you want.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is it exposes organizations that may be newer to digital, that don't have documentation on things like outbound scripts. Okay, if you're going to use sales playbooks, folks, someone's going to have to figure out what you're saying and standardize it, right?
You're going to have to say something.
I can't do that for you. I can help you, but I can't tell you what exactly to say because you've already been selling. Let's figure that out, right?
I love that. It does expose. I know we're going a little into this. It makes a lot of sense for those of you listening that it exposes. And to some people with a closed mindset, that feels like it exposes something wrong, where with the open mindset, it exposes the opportunity in your business. So grow into that opportunity or stay where you're at. That's fine. We're not mad about that. Just know that it's exposing where you're at. And that's what you see.
Yeah. The biggest thing as an admin that I can encourage all folks that are listening is half the time we know what should be done and what could be done. And we can see the architecture before they even enter the building, right? The problem is they're not looking for the architecture. They literally have this bubble called don't risk my job, don't hurt me, don't expose me. It's all this psychological crap that we have to deal with. And that's actually what you're working with, not the platform sometimes.
Received the meeting turns way more into the psychology side of things.
Yeah.
All right. So that's today. Let's go back, Ali, to your journey. What sparked kind of your HubSpot life? Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, I actually used HubSpot when it was a pretty early product. I remember what it looked like. And I used it as a freelance consultant with a client. So I was loading and publishing literally blogs and social. That's all I was doing. And I remember at that time just having all of that in one place because I was used to using something like, MailChimp, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Not that that's a bad product, but I just was reveling in the fact that I can do all of this in one place. And I've got this kind of customer piece at the middle and I have all the activity the customer was doing. Now, fast forward, I started an agency. There's a lot of stuff in between that, but about 5 years later, started an agency and we were going to look for a way to attach ourselves to some sort of trend or insight or something and explore the HubSpot partner program. Joined just because at the time, sorry, HubSpot. I joined just because I thought it was something that like, I should probably become a partner, right? And then we set ourselves up, got good at the platform, led a user group. And then things really didn't take off for us until we started publishing content on YouTube. And that's how we met. That's how we've got a lot of our customers and the rest is kind of history.
Just blog posts. So you're saying like blog posts and social posts, you were just pumping them out through HubSpot?
No, I mean, I think so. A lot of my journey comes back to like credibility and how that gets transacted online these days. Yeah. And I think that as an agency owner, so if anybody here is listening, that's so good. That's an agency owner, right?
Yeah.
there's like a common, I don't know, joke that it's like nobody intentionally started an agency. You just were this and then you grow into this. Well, that's not always true. I've always been very intentional about growing the business. But what I thought when we became a HubSpot partner was, and back then HubSpot was very, like, it was a very tiny thing. The CRM wasn't a thing yet. The first inbound that I went to, they announced the CRM, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to, I used to be a Salesforce admin. Woo, I've gotten to the dark side. So now I'm a HubSpot admin, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm preaching like, oh my God, I used to be a Salesforce expert. Now there's a CRM instead of HubSpot. This is going somewhere. And that's kind of the point that I saw, like, here's where it's going. But I never realized that I thought becoming a partner would be like, that's our key to being a HubSpot expert. I'm sorry. That's called one tiny step in the whole journey. In the HubSpot YouTube channel changed it for us because you can hire HubSpot blogs to be written by freelancers. Mm-hmm. You and I can't replace our faces on this screen right now.
Agreed.
And when someone, I think you've got that too, Grant. Like, people trust you because it's like, here, I just did this thing, right?
Right. Doing the thing, showing up and actually doing the performance. I love that you just said, Ali, it's not about publishing things like you just said. You could hire someone to do that. It is building the credibility. And when you started the YouTube channel, that was something that started to actually turn on. It wasn't some paperwork of becoming a partner. It was, we're showing up and being the expert, showing you how to do something. And that's then building our credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of that adage about, like, leadership isn't a title. It's something you earn. Like, you earn the credibility from showing you. Sure, we're a partner. Great. We filled out the paperwork.
Yeah.
I love that. And for those of you listening, I would add to what Ali is saying, is that you can go into HubSpot Academy and you can learn all the things for free. All of the learning for free, all of the certifications you can sit in for free. And when you pass it, they'll give you the certificate for free. That's amazing. Then start a YouTube channel, or at the beginning, start a YouTube channel where you're live streaming your learning, because that will build you the credibility that you're doing it. Part of what you're saying to me, Ali, is just like doing the work, which I love.
Yeah, I think people will say, what would you do differently? And I said, well, first of all, I think if I knew what I knew now, like, that movie, The Butterfly Effect, like, my whole world would be different. Like, let's just not go there. But I think learning what I know now, if I were to start a HubSpot agency today, it's going to be pretty hard to become a partner, because the market's already saturated. So just like every single thing that we do, you got to find the green, like the open space. So the open space right now in HubSpot, for those of you trying to figure out where to go, HubSpot developers, still super rare. If you specialize in HubSpot, go all in and you will have work for the rest of your life, right?
Plus one hot tip from Ali and Grant. Become a HubSpot developer and start developing apps on the platform on top of HubSpot. Do whatever HubSpot's doing better, and then let people use your product. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next question. Let's see. So we have, like, basically what you're doing now, and then you going from, I would say 2014, ballparking it, to just posting using HubSpot. So in between this time frame, personally, what are some of your milestones that you've reached that you're just proud of? That as you look back, it's like, wow, I did that. And then I did another thing. And I did another thing. What are some of those?
Are we talking about HubSpot specifically?
HubSpot, yeah. What are some HubSpot milestones you've reached along the way?
Sure. I mean, launching our blog on HubSpot as an agency was one of the biggest things that we had done, because any agency I'd worked for prior to that was probably one of the reasons why I went out on my own, to be honest. A lot of people did not share my vision of people want to trust through content. And I knew that's where it was going. And I had 2 previous positions where the people that I had worked with just weren't as excited about that idea. So I said, we are going to be an agency that does what we tell our clients to do. And so publishing our blog and driving traffic and starting to rank for things on our blog was one of the first milestones. Like we had page 1 for the blog, marketing plan versus strategy. And the reason I knew that, I mean, it was like, let's show you how the tool works. And so that was kind of one milestone. You know, the next milestone is us getting the Nebraska, because I'm based out of Omaha, the user group. And so we led a user group. So that's a huge milestone. We started to get trust there. And then the next milestone being, again, this is kind of the start of the YouTube stuff. We realized that clients were asking us things that we would send them to the knowledge center. And the client would just be like, can you just send me a video? And at that point, we were early adopters of the tool Loom, which I know you sent me a Loom for this interview today.
Yes.
I love Loom. At Loom, I love you. Like, can you build a HubSpot integration, please, if you're listening?
Same. Plus, yes, add on.
So what I found in doing this Loom was the clients were just like, oh my God, that's so great. Can you make another one and another one? And so we thought, why don't we just make this, throw it on YouTube and see if anybody else has this same problem. And our video of how to set your meeting link up with HubSpot got 1,000 views in a month. And it was a Loom video, just a basic Loom, no intro, no nothing. It was just like quick to the point. So that's when we said, let's actually go all in. At the time, as a content agency, we were thinking people need branded content. And a lot of folks were like, ooh, to pour a lot of money into a branded channel, I don't know about that. And we're like, fine, we'll do it first. We'll show you how it works. So that's been a lot of our journey is fine, I'll do it. And then I'll show you. So we launched the YouTube channel, and Grant, on the first month, our goal was 100 subscribers. And we launched with like 6 videos, and it was like, they were wonderful, how to do meetings. I think we got like 80 subscribers. And I was like, crap, we didn't even hit our goal of 100 subscribers. but you know, tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. So we published weekly. At about the 6th month mark, I went back and analyzed things. And that's about the time that things started to take off. And that's about the time that every executive would have pulled the plug on the program because it wasn't doing what it's supposed to.
We've done it for 6 months. What are we doing here? It's not getting traction.
And that was about the time that we started to learn enough about our audience to know exactly what they wanted, what they didn't want, and blah, blah, blah.
Received.
So that milestone, we went in, we moved offices, we built a studio. You know, that's the point that like we doubled down. We started offering HubSpot consulting. And then that milestone, I think, took us to the next level where, just like folks here that listen to this podcast, when you've been in enough portals and you see enough different situations, your knowledge begins to like build on itself, right?
Crazy.
So yeah, that kind of compounding interest of knowledge acquisition then took us to the point where we're now trusted people to resell HubSpot simply because of our YouTube presence. And now, like, I'm speaking about HubSpot, I'm going to be an inbound correspondent. You and I are connected. Like, all of that kind of just comes from those initial milestones. So it's been pretty fun to see that happen. And now we're a diamond partner with HubSpot. So
congrats.
Nutshell. Yeah.
It's amazing, and love to hear how they're connected. It was so nice that as you are telling this story, their milestones, you're like, well, yeah, then that set us up for this. It's just you're going through the motions of showing up for your partners, and then as they need things, you're showing up and proving to them this is what you need.
Yeah. And then, you know, as HubSpot releases new features, that gives us a chance for us to talk about more things. So if HubSpot was a company that was okay with just being here, I don't think that you and I would be as excited about it. But agreed. I do think that they do a great job of really taking what the market needs and listening.
Received. There is something new to stay up to date with.
Yeah.
So of course we want to then engage with that. What are now the implications based on this new update? How can you grow your business, or how can you do what you're already doing more efficiently? Love that.
Yep.
So, okay, next question then. In that same time frame, this whole HubSpot life that you're leading, love on some people. Who are some people in your HubSpot life that you want to call out and tell us the story behind them?
Yeah, I would say our first account, you know, I'm really bad at knowing whether it's a channel account manager or a channel consultant. And I don't think I'm alone in that, but it was one of our first, I think she was one of our CAMs, but her name was Becca. And I, for the life of me, can't remember her last name while we're here, but she really pushed us to hit our goals initially as an agency partner. And I think that some people are turned off by some of those things. And while we weren't at the stage, I think that we are now, like, I think if now we're almost pushing harder than people are pushing us. But I do think when you're first started, it's that same thing with the YouTube channel I talked about. You're enthusiastic and then the reality sets in. And too many times, I think great partnership programs don't get built because the initial enthusiasm wears off and people go, wow, this is actually really hard. And HubSpot's not just sending me leads like I thought they were going to.
Right. The money's just going to roll in now that I'm a partner.
Yeah, exactly. So, Becca definitely kind of opened our eyes to really making sure that that accountability mechanism with our partner rep at HubSpot is there. And we have a great relationship with them today. Different person now today. We had a channel account manager last year that was with us for a year, who's now at a different company. See her at Inbound. Her name's Molly. She did a really great job of kind of bringing us to the table as they shifted the partner relationship and did co-selling. Right. She's been amazing. I really think that, I've learned a ton from other partners like, the Impulse Creative guys, Impact, New Breed, anybody that was kind of that level before us. We were always keeping, almost like hoping to ride some tailwinds of folks out there. George B. Thomas and I have become friends.
He's fantastic.
I watched his videos long before we did stuff. So I think that those people have all been ahead of me and just given me a good understanding of, one, they've validated that you can build a whole channel on just talking about HubSpot, right?
Yes.
And then they've also made it possible for us we don't want to do what someone else is doing. So they've inspired us to say, you've already done this really well. Where can I win?
Received. Lots of people along the journey. Again, you're tactical and intentional. You're doing the things that are in front of you and doing them really well. And then hearing that the people who are helping you do that and the people who are just ahead of you that you're looking toward are the people you call out. It's pretty telling that, Ali, you just have this focus that you're able to do on the work ahead of you. And it's pretty inspiring to watch and see.
Yeah, thanks. Well, and I failed to mention one more person that Christina, the head of the community over there at HubSpot. I think watching the way that she's been able to drive that conversation on platforms like Twitter and Slack, that's been super inspiring, because I think that the next generation of marketing, and it's even here now, is community led. And, they're leaning into a lot of that, and we're learning a lot about that too.
Agreed. Received. Christina K and Christina Garnett were like the fun people on Twitter you could talk about HubSpot with. It was just amazing.
And, a few superheroes and self-deprecating humor here and there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a Twitter fan. I definitely enjoy that.
All right. So on to our last question. This is always an interesting one on what it is the guest brings in and what as a super admin you think it looks like. So Ali, tell us about 10 years from now, Ali. What is she talking about and what is she saying or what is she doing?
That's a good question. I have trouble looking in a year out.
Yeah, right. So it's 2032, I guess the year would be. 2032, Ali is saying.
Yes, 2032, Ali has shipped her body off to somewhere else and her brain is enjoying like the sandy beaches, right? Like I'm independent of my own self. I don't know. I think that in the next 10 years, we're going to see a lot of transformation people can talk about the metaverse. They can talk about all of the different digital things that are happening. But I think the soapbox that I'll continue to live on is going to be powering the connection with people to problems. And what that looks like technology wise, like 10 years ago, that looked different than how we do it today.
Right.
But I think we'll see a lot more focus on UI, UX and making things easier for people. And I think there'll be a big push, and I'm sure that you and I will be part of this, increasing the technology adoption worldwide, because although we're doing this here, there's still a lot of the world that has a long ways to go. And, we owe it to society to make that better for them too. So I'd like to see, personally, I would love to expand into Latin America and work with folks that are, speaking different languages, be able to service folks with HubSpot and really bring the cultures together. But at this point, I need to be a little better at Spanish before I try that. So
Received.
Yeah,
Same.
exactly. Yeah.
The digital transformation is going to do what it's going to do, is what I'm hearing from Ali 2032. But the people to problems connection will be the opportunity space that you're looking towards to go deeper in. And hearing you say that, it's always interesting to me to think of the idea that as we might have more technology tools, they will only enable us to then go deeper the other way in our humanity. So because the transactional email happened, now I can just talk to you on the phone. I don't have to do the transactional conversation.
Yeah, we're already seeing some of this now. We're going to enter a time where people can take this podcast and they can create voicemails that sound like you and I. And they can send those voicemails to people and spoof our voices just like they spoof our emails. So the human authenticity and the human connections, I think, going to be more important than ever. And the people that win are not going to be the ones that, offer handwritten letters that look like they're handwritten, because we're just going to have such a keen eye for what's human and what's not. And I'm pretty excited about that, because I really think people are very interesting.
Yes. Well, it's obvious you believe in humanity, and it sounds like you're saying that here. So,
For sure.
Thank you. Where can people find you, Ali? If people want to reach out to you, talk to you, where's the best place for them to find you?
Probably the best thing to do is head to YouTube and look for HubSpot hacks. You'll see, if you just type in HubSpot and you know my name is Ali, you'll see me on the search results for sure. My name is Ali Schwanke. If you can't think of my company name, I believe I'm the only Ali Schwanke in the world. So you could Google that too. But our company website is Simple Strat, so short for strategy, simplestrat.com, or I'm pretty active on Twitter. And I do have a new TikTok channel that's coming, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at Inbound. Yeah.
Received. Okay. Thank you so much, Ali, for sharing your story with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Had a good time.
All of you listening out there, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next Becoming HubSpot Super Admin